Today, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about some leadership principles. One of the guys that I enjoy learning from the most is a gentleman by the name of John Maxwell. And John Maxwell is one of the foremost leaders on leadership. And I'll tell you what I love about John Maxwell is he's real practical. He gives lots of specific strategies and things that you can use in order to take your skills, your talents to the next level. And I know that internally, motivation, inspiration, your thoughts, those are all things that you need to work on, but sometimes it's just straight strategy in order to implement some things with your team. So many of you on the call today, many of you tuning in or even tuning in after this call, if you're not on live later and you listen to the recorded message, have teams, organizations, you're entrepreneurs, you might be mothers, fathers, have relationships, individual businesses, but leadership seems to be one of those skills that will always help you take your business, your life, and everything to the next level. So I want you to think about, as you're listening to these leadership principles and these strategies, I want you to think about, how you can apply these in your life and how you can use these leadership skills to help you become better. Because one of the things I love about John Maxwell is everything that he teaches you is designed to help you become a better leader. But the 6 strategies I want to cover with you today are also designed to help you focus on increasing the leadership skills of those around you. See, when you focus on other people and their potential, it by default, it builds your potential and it builds your skills and your strategies that you can use. So if you're not driving, if you're not running on the treadmill and you want to take some notes, go ahead and take some notes on this. There's 6 strategies in order to go to the next level with your leadership skills. And the first strategy is to ask questions. You need to ask questions often. And the reason I say that is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. How many of you have heard that before? The bottom line is dialogue. Dialogue develops your skills and your knowledge, but it also helps you to create discernment and really successful decision-making. Decision-making is a key element of leadership. And if you ask questions often, that's going to help you to create the best types of decision-making and discernment in your leadership. So asking questions often is the first thing. The second thing is to, you're probably going to guess this, listen closely. See, most of us have a problem because we're in a mode of managing people. Managing people is not leading people. You need to go to the next level in your leadership. And in order to do that, people have to feel valued, and people feel valued when they're listened to. And, in order to work with your team and become a true leader, you have to engage your team, not just manage your team. Our goal is to engage your team, and the way to do that is to ask questions and to listen closely. Because the day that your ideas are not the best ideas is the day you've become a very successful leader. And that's the goal. You want to be able to create leaders, create success amongst your team and the people around you. The third principle and the third strategy that Maxwell suggests is that of identifying patterns. Now, this is an interesting one. I want you to look at this and think about this. Pay attention to the way people analyze situations, questions, and information, and how they react to things. And the reason I say this is, are they analytical? Are they driven by emotion? Are they self-aware? Are they goal-oriented? Do they see opportunities? You need to look at the motivations that are behind the behaviors of the individuals on your team. And the reason you want to look at the motivations is because you need to understand how to lead your team best. Everyone's different. And everyone is not only different, but you have to be able to match up individuals with the proper problems, responsibilities, and things inside your team. And so in order to do that, you have to watch how people react and interact. And this is something that I just absolutely think is critical. Besides asking questions and listening, analyzing the way people react and their patterns. Identify their patterns. Okay. Now, number four, I think is one that you can develop your skills a little bit more and more as you go along, but that's to challenge people's thinking. When you challenge people's thinking, think back, what were your best teachers? These are individuals that, they gave you the toughest questions. They pushed you the hardest. They challenged your perspective. They help you to grow beyond where you were, right? Be that kind of teacher. Be that person for the individuals in your organization, in your business, or whatever you have. Challenge your team. You need to help your team create breakthroughs. And what's difficult for us as managers, leaders, successful entrepreneurs is a lot of times we try to solve the problems for them. That's not the way to create true empowered individuals. What you need to do is help people become and create breakthroughs. In order to become and create breakthroughs, you have to help lead them to those breakthroughs. And that's something that I think you need to think about. So challenge the way people think. And when you challenge the way people think, they'll come to those breakthroughs right on their own. Okay, the fifth strategy that Maxwell talks about is encouraging a focus on solutions. Now, one of my mentors, a good friend of mine, Jason Brown, he always talks about starting from solution. You know, focusing on the problem doesn't create the solution. But even more to that point, you know, John Maxwell had a strategy he did with his team. He always required people to bring 3 solutions to every problem. And the reason he required them to bring 3 solutions to every problem is, number one, you want to start from solution, right? But in addition to starting from solution, you want to turn basic problem bringers into solution bringers, right? You want to bring people into the frame of mind of creating solutions, not problems, because when they come from the problem, they're not going to create, that's a place of scarcity. They're not going to create solutions. And so in order to create more, better, stronger solutions, you need to focus on encouraging solutions. So encourage those focuses of solutions. And when you do that, you know, what's going to happen is your job is then to help them create, identify, and implement the best solution, rather than you being the solution all the time. And so that's one of the strategies that I think is good, is when you can help you and your team to create more of a solution mindset, then your job is to help them go through those solutions and implement the best strategy, right? And help them through that process. Okay, the 6th strategy I want to talk to you about is basically model the importance of reflection. Because as leaders, it's no longer about you just doing things yourself. You know, strong leaders find time to reflect. Strong leaders find time to step back. It's like that saying I hear from a lot of strong leaders and mentors of mine, like Harv Eker. You know, take action, but then allow space for attraction. You know, take action in your teams, but then step back and try to be more objective. And the bottom line is, look, it's always easier to do things yourself. Right? I get that. It's always easier to do things yourself, but that's very short-minded. That's a very short-minded mindset. What you want to do is you want to allow people to be able to create solutions, and sometimes that requires you to step back a few minutes and just analyze the situation, give your team some time. And look, here's the deal. You're going to have to put aside some insecurities. And that might be a positive or a negative insecurity, meaning you might feel like you're just better at doing everything. But if you want to do everything yourself the rest of your life, then that's what you need to continue to do. But that's a manager, that's a doer, that's an executor, that's a dominant personality. A leader needs to help people make breakthroughs, and a leader needs to help individuals to become more successful. And so you have to step back, because it seems easier to do it yourself, but in the long run, you'll be glad that you learned to empower your team. You know, bottom line is this. The whole message here: invest your time and energy in the people around you. That's a very strong, powerful message. Invest your time and energy in the people around you. And when you do that, the dividends will pay out significantly. So if you want to become successful, you need to take action. If you want to become leveraged and create passive residual income, then you'll learn to manage and lead a team. But if you truly want to be a massive success, you're going to learn to be a top quality leader. And in order to do that, you've got to be able to ask questions. You got to be able to listen. You got to be able to identify patterns. You definitely want to challenge people's thinking. You want to focus on solutions, and you want to model that importance of reflecting. And I appreciate all the comments and things in the chat box. I want to leave you with one last quote. This was one mentioned by Theodore Roosevelt. It's a great quote to kind of end the topic here today. And it said, Theodore Roosevelt said, "The best executive is one who has sense enough to pick good people to do what he wants done, and self-restraint enough to keep from meddling with them while they do it." That's really the message here today, right? Have the ability to be able to create, manage, and empower people, and then get out of their way. Let them do it. Don't try to hold their hand, do it for them. It's just like with kids or your relationships or anything. You can't do it for everyone. You've got to be a great leader. You've got to be able to identify the right things and then step back and allow your team to make a difference. Let me go ahead and I got a couple of chats in the chat box. This is a quote one more time. It's by Theodore Roosevelt. The best executive is one who has sense enough to pick good people to do what he wants done, and self-restraint enough to keep from meddling with them while they do it. The best executive is one who has sense enough to pick good people to do what he wants done, and self-restraint enough to keep from meddling with them while they do it. I think that's a great quote, and that really sums up the message for today. I hope you're having an amazing day. If not, this is your chance to turn it around. It's the middle of the week. We got a lot of positive things going. I'm so excited to be here with you. I hope you're here every day, and whether you can make it to the live call or do the recording, I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to share these trainings, these tools, these techniques and things with people on your team, because the best way to learn is to teach. And so with that said, it's never too late to start living the life you were meant to live. I want you to take action today. I want you to implement these tools and trainings and these strategies. I hope you have an amazing day, and go out and make it a great day for someone as well. Thank you. Have a great day.